Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Lunch and Life with your co-host, me, Sharon, and
your other co-host, Robin Joy. I'm sorry, that was a great opening.
oh my God. Okay, so we really have to do a reel of bloopers and funny things that just make us laugh. So this week, last week we were talking about Simone Biles. This week, we want to talk more about this shift of energy and our thoughts and like what we're all going through. What does this all mean? And how can you create something? What can you surrender and let go? So that's kind of what this week is going to look like. I'm doing a dance here.
My energy is laughter right now.
Yeah, seriously.
Thanks to Sharon, my friend.
Well, when we were talking about Simone and the idea of like, wow, let's, really wake up and take care of ourselves. And there's been a lot of shifting in energies. If you follow astrology or the moons or the planets or all of that stuff, I don't, but I'm very fascinated by it. There is a lot going on, and you had these full moons. And, when we have the shift in energy, it's like, how do we shift our thoughts so that we can fluidly move forward without staying stuck?
That is true. I more recently have become more familiar with the astrology stuff, and I'm more attuned to my own energy, but there is a lot of stuff going on, so now I'm more aware of like not getting something either accomplished or just feeling a little agitated or whatever. And then I'll talk to someone who's like, well, Mercury's in retrograde or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. So what does that mean? But there's a lot of stuff going on. And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, not only energy, like energy wise, but also so much is still happening between the pandemic and the news and just everything. Nothing seems settled yet. So you take just life happening and then you listen to the weather and like everything is still going on. Like, I don't know, take every aspect of life, whether it's news or whatever, like the weather across from California to the from the west to the east. I'm sure there's a song about that. But everything is like, either it's raining or it's moving forward, or unfortunately hurricanes or fires, like stuff happening.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point about what's happening with the pandemic, because I found myself as you were talking, and I just took another breath of taking that breath, because that underlying buzz of anxiety is back.
It is back.
And with that, we fall into some of these habits that have become familiar or ways of thinking because it's what we're used to. And in order for us to be able to change the tape or to play something new, right, we have to figure out how to shift all of this. And I was actually just thinking about when you and I did that challenge, and the challenge with, we played this game just to prove how there are certain things that we know from childhood that we don't even realize is so ingrained in our brain. And the game that we played was kind of like, what are the next lines of the tune?
Yeah, like name that tune.
It was like, if they were like, if we sing this song, the first line, we want you to sing the next line, kind of thing. And the first song was row, row, row your boat, right? So it's row, row, row your boat.
Gently down the stream. We all like chimed in.
Right? So, but the point of that is that, when was the last time you heard that song?
Exactly. We did it with Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star.
Yeah.
And then even think about like Happy Birthday. Who actually sat down?
Every year.
Yeah, but did anyone ever teach you the song Happy Birthday?
No,
you just learned Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, you probably learned because your mother sang it to you, and then you sang it to your kids. So it's just like these patterns that have been created because you were just presented and subliminally taught.
Right. And then so it makes you wonder what else is out there or actually up here that have been subliminally taught over the years. And so we don't realize these 60,000 thoughts that are creating our reality every single day.
Right.
And we talked last week even about, questioning it. It's like, what do I believe? Wait, why do I believe that? Says
Right.
who? Why is that true? And, always, my cousin calls it, I don't know if she came up with this, but the ABC is always be curious.
Oh, I like that.
Right? I like that too. And it is about like being curious about what you're thinking, minding your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's something going on and there's a shift happening, instead of trying to resist it because it should be a certain way, surrender, let go, and allow you.
Just lean into it and learn about it. And, tune into it and see what happens, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, even with fear, right? It's a real thing. So obviously, if you have to flee because, I'll say your house is on fire, hopefully not. That's a real thing and you got to go. But as I've talked about, fear scientifically is real. Often it's telling you something. So pause and listen in because it's telling you something for your own good.
Yes.
What you do with it is your choice. Brings back choice, chance, and change, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's interesting also that when we're trying to do something, and yes, paying attention to that fear, what is it trying to tell me? And many times, if we don't listen and we're trying to really just like break through that wall, we're insistent that it has to be this way because that's what we're used to, that's what we're trained, that's what we believe. And yet it wasn't the right way. It's not that it wasn't the right way, but it wasn't the right way for you for now, right? So paying attention to that and letting it go. So like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Years ago, as a big family trip, we were going to rent a villa in Italy. And we just kept hitting so much resistance, but we were like, no, we want to do this. This is the thing to do. This is what we decided on. It's got to be this. And we were like hammering and hammering. And it just wasn't working. And we were like, why? We were so annoyed, everybody, until we just like let it go and realized, all right, well, whatever, it's not working. And we found out subsequently when we pieced it all together, thank God we didn't, I mean, everything was fine. Everybody was okay, but we weren't meant to go on that trip.
Huh, interesting.
Right. So, and that could be with anything. That could be with business. It could be with relationships. It could be even with food, even with how you're eating or exercising. It's not like, oh, suffer through the pain, do another rep. Come on, you got it. And then, you tear something because you overdid it.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's why it's so important, the whole concept of, your brain and neuroplasticity and, getting comfortable being uncomfortable and really listening to what triggers you now and sit with it and be able to go back and see what it's telling you. Because I really think it's 9 to 9.5 times out of 10 that it's something from your past that it is triggered, right? And it could be a saying, it could be an action. It's just something that it's like, oh, wait a second. I'm bothered by this, but it has nothing to do with what just happened. It has to do with an action from way back when.
Yes.
And until you figure it out and you're like, yeah, I don't like that anymore. So I got to go back and like clean it up and move on.
Right. And asking yourself, does this serve me? Yeah, no.
Right. Well, it's all those imprints, right? Does it serve me or does it not? And being able to let it go. Otherwise you're carrying extra baggage.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
So it's interesting. I was talking with a client just this morning and she's doing amazing. She's eating well and taking care of herself and whatever else is going on. And she said how she got a headache. She tracks everything, writes everything down. She got a headache and she was trying to figure out where this headache came from. And she went through her food journal and she found that she had gotten an Arnold Palmer, which is iced tea and lemonade, made with sugar. And she doesn't really consume sugar anymore because of how it makes her feel. But because she wrote it down, she at first she was like, could it have been that? I'm like, absolutely. Right. And, I'm bringing this up because all these little signs that our bodies give us are for something to remind us.
Interesting.
Of what serves us or not. And then you always have a choice to take a chance.
Almost.
Change.
She got it.
Yay!
Folks, she's got it.
I put a little post-it on my computer so that I don't ever forget it.
Yeah, gonna tattoo it. But
yeah.
Way to go.
And it's with everything. It's absolutely everything. So it's baby steps. So it's just being kind to yourself and taking one step at a time, and whatever resonated with you through this video that you're watching, not you, Robin, our audience.
Oh, thanks, Sharon.
It could be different for all of you. Write it in, please share it in the comments, write it out if you need to, and let us know what is working, what you'd like to hear more of also, because we're loving sharing this information.
Absolutely. Share with us too, what is think of a childhood song, because we were talking about this. Think of a childhood song that just comes to you, like it's one of those memories that you know it. We'd love to know, because we're going to make a song playlist about this stuff. So let us know. And Sharon will sing it all for you.
Oh, yeah. My kids would, they'd be like, no, Mom, step away from the microphone.
I'll have her do it. Don't worry, folks. Anyway, still subscribe and like, even though.
Please do. I don't want to scare you away. And on that note, always great unpacking lunch with you, Robin.
Likewise.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.